Good afternoon. This is your weekly shout out for Friday, January the 29th, 2016. Happy to talk about this week's activities in finance and IT and a little update about what's happening at the City Council. I tried to make it out to do an on scene outside the office shoot, but I got up to the top of 919 Palm Street and it started to get breezy and windy and a little rainy, and came back and unfortunately the wind kind of was the most what you could hear in the shoot. So I'll see if I can do that next time around. A little bit what's happening at the City Council. Next week on the 2nd, we've got a few consent items, presentation by John Fowler and CDD. John Fowler's on our Planning Commission about what's going on in terms of the federal and state housing policies. A winter storm preparedness update by Garrett Olson and Daryl Grigsby. And we have an introduction of new hires from utilities, and a new hire by Michelle Bullo, who, as everyone knows, went over to utilities, introduced her new role at utilities and the things that she'll be doing to help out the city organization. That evening, the primary item is the presentation of the CAFR, which everyone knows Vilma's been working on for many months, and this is certainly a big step. And she'll be joined by Aaron and Al, our auditors, and we'll be making a presentation and covering some of the key information related to GASB 68, which is the new requirements that we report our unfunded liabilities and our net financial position. And this is going to be, I'm sure, an area where there's going to be questions from the council and questions from the community about how the city is managing its unfunded liabilities. The good news is that CalPERS has made some adjustments to our rates to make sure that we can honor the commitments that we've made to our employees. And the city at the same time has continued to, when allowed financially, to make prepayments on those liabilities. Moving to the 16th, we've got a couple things of interest to the Finance and IT Department. We've got disposition of property at 2081 Broad Street. We've got presentation of the mid-year budget by Zena, Shelley, and myself. And then we'll have a presentation of property assessed energy contracts and resolutions to allow property owners to use the equity that they have on their property to make efficiency improvements. The main item that night, besides the budget, is the Santa Rosa infill project at 1101 Monterey. It's a pretty significant project that includes a parking structure, hotel, housing, and the inclusion of a transit center. So a lot that the council is going to have to weave through to make a decision. You've probably read about this project in the paper. It's proposed at 75 feet, which will require some land use changes and something that the community has a lot of strong feelings about. In terms of shout outs this week and what's going on in IT, we kicked off this week with a presentation by Greg Herman on the GFOA recommendations. He provided a summary of the recommendations and what we have in store for us. Don and Mary participated at the EOC on Monday and Tuesday, in which we gave a better understanding of the workflow and structure of the EOC. They're currently working on an online application to improve information sharing and during emergency situations. And certainly this, in my mind, is an example of how we're continuing to strive to show how to improve the city work processes. The entire IT team took part in the second interview panel for the control systems position. And great news out of that process was that Jason Dornis was selected by his peers within the department and outside technical experts. Certainly excited to see Jason proceed in his career, and I've already heard from Miguel right away a requisition to fill that spot. As you may know, we had 2 positions in the budget. It looks like we may have another candidate as well. On other news, Nick presented the new Extron ShareLink configuration. This is part of our overall improvements that we want to make to the council hearing room to make that a full-fledged room that would be available for filming and improving the audio for our various commissions and advisory bodies that are in that room, and also make it a resource for city staff. Overall, it was another busy week and very productive week for the IT team, and I continue to be very proud of the accomplishments that they're making. On the finance side, I want to give some shout outs to Marjorie, who continues to make some good progress on business licenses. I mentioned last week that I met with the Downtown Association and they were very happy with our progress. And currently Marjorie is doing some work on two fronts. She's developing a request for proposals for consultants to help us with gaining more compliance on business licenses. And she's also working on an RFP with respect to the collections that we have to pursue when there are unpaid fines and taxes to the city, and that contract is coming up for renewal. Vilma provided me a copy of the first quarterly report for 15-16, which is an important reporting requirement by the city in terms of meeting our obligations pursuant to our budget and financial policies of reporting our financial health to our community and to the city council. A little bit short on time this week, given that I had the filming did not turn out as expected. Looking forward to next week. Just a quick note, Tuesday night I'll be finishing up City Council, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I'm out of the office down in Indian Wells at a conference. I'll be checking email as I can, and then I'll be also available by phone if need be. Vilma Warner will be acting department head, and as usual, appreciate everything that everyone's doing. Have a great weekend. Stay dry, and see you on Monday. Take care.